So today we will be talking about the 7 year gap in my modeling journey and what happened. So if you are new here, I highly recommend you go back to the first three videos, which is the introduction. The first actual video was about how modeling came to come about for me. And then third video, yeah, technically the third video, because I'm kind of not counting the introduction video as a video, but the third video is all about my experience with the modeling school. So in this video, like I just stated, we will be talking about the 7 year gap and what happened. So the last video that we left off was me going to John Casablanca, and in that video, I kind of gave you guys some details between the difference of an agency and a modeling school. So once I left John Casablanca, you guys, there really was no direction for me, for my parents, for me. And at that time, I was in middle school. So we kind of just left it. It was a sad, it was a sad situation for me because when you finally find something that you absolutely love to do, and I know so many of y'all can relate to this, right? Because it's very rare that you find something you love to do. You find things that you like, or I wouldn't mind doing that again. But when it comes down to a love, like a passion, that doesn't come by often. So to go without doing it, it can feel very almost isolating, if I can say that. It feels almost isolating because you just feel like you're being put into another world where that thing doesn't exist. And not to say that it was everything, but it was everything for me at the time. And so I went through middle school and high school, right, without any modeling whatsoever. I'm talking about from the first year of middle school to senior year, there was no modeling. And it really was a challenge again to be completely removed from something that you love. I I can't even really fully explain what that feeling is like. It was challenging. It was really challenging. And I would always try to find ways, like the older I got, I would always try to find ways to get back into it. I would start about doing my own research, but I just really didn't know how because I didn't understand. Again, went to John Casablanca. There was a little education there, but there was no actual directive into how to actually navigate into it without having the guidance of an agency or, just somebody in the industry. I didn't know anybody at that time. So, you know, instead of like really honing in on modeling, I eventually made the shift into okay, so I'm right here right now. What can I do? So this is when I started trying to like get into sports and things. And funny enough, so I tried volleyball. I actually tried out for volleyball. That didn't work out. Volleyball wasn't my sport. Even though I liked the ideal of it, it wasn't my sport. I did track. I mean, tall girl. My dad is a track star. From high school to college, he was a track star. So track really worked out for me. I had some speed. For those who are interested in knowing, I was a relay girl, 4x1, 4x2, and I ran 100 and 200. So I was a sprinter. So that was okay. Still didn't love it. It was just something to do to stay active. And then my high school years is when I met the next passionate thing, which was cheerleading. Cheerleading was, I mean, I know I'm tall, right? And you very rarely see a tall girl cheer. And then eventually you might, I don't know. But I absolutely fell in love with cheerleading, you guys. And I cheered from my freshman year all the way up to my junior year because my parents decided to move me my senior year. And I don't know about you guys, where you're from or where you are in the world, but there's districts here. And so once you move out of a district, you can no longer go to that school. But here's the catch of all of that. Lean in. I had just made captain of the varsity cheerleading squad my senior year, which was a dream for me with my best friend at the time. Yeah, that happened. It happened. So I did not get to participate in that moment. And that was another part of something that I had fell in love with and was just kind of taken away. I just felt very isolating. And by the time I got to the new school, um, I think that had already closed off, so I didn't have an opportunity to even try out for cheerleading at the new school. I just kind of had to I pretty much skated through my senior year. Like I met some amazing people, sure. Yes, I met some amazing people, but it just wasn't the same. So I will say in this 7 year gap, um, I learned a lot about me. I did build some skills, of course. I gained my education, and I really developed myself. And I hindsight, I think that was important because again, going in young into something, you really don't know yourself. And I feel like there's a lot of influence when you're younger that could probably sway me this way or that way. And now hindsight 2020, I always say this. Sometimes things are so intentionally happening that we don't understand. And the understanding comes like years later. And I'm realizing that now. Granted, in the time of it, absolutely not. I did not realize it. I didn't want to realize it. I didn't understand it. Like, how could I fall in love with something and it just be taken away? You know what I'm saying? And it felt like that felt like it continued to happen throughout my life with things I felt like, again, modeling and then cheerleading. But I really had to understand that sometimes when transitions take place, it really is for our betterment. And I will say that all of the transitions in my life really made me a better person. It really helped me tap into areas of myself that I didn't know and I wouldn't have discovered had those things not taken place. I wouldn't have met the people that I met along the way. That's even in my middle school and high school years. Like all of those things were not coincidental, they were intentional and strategically taking place for me that I could not see at the time. But that 7 year gap, that's what happened. I was in school, I was being young, I was being a teenager, a treacherous one at that. Yeah, I have to talk to my parents about I believe it. I was a treacherous teenager. It was a fun time. Okay. It was a fun time. I really did enjoy those years. But I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest takeaway in that 7 year gap, as uncomfortable as it was, as much as I didn't understand it, I was growing and I was being developed and I was coming into my own personal identity. And even at that, even at that point, there's levels to it, right? There was a level to me knowing who I was in middle school. And that middle school identity carried me into high school. And then there was a level of an identity that had to come forth in high school. And that's been the phase of my life. And so I think that when it comes to the modeling aspect, I still absolutely love runway, but I think that there was other things I needed to put my hands to so that modeling didn't become everything to me. And I'm gonna honestly say, and I think I can say that even in my adult life, that modeling had just become the center of my universe because I just loved it so much. And I don't know, honestly speaking, I don't know why. And I guess because once cheerleading was done and it seemed out of reach because I was out of school, graduated high school, moving into college, excuse me, moving into college, it really didn't seem reachable for me. So that kind of like died along with that season of my life. Modeling never did. And so I think that's why that became the core part of what I wanted to do and just my life. I really think it just became my life. And I had to find ways to really not make it that. And it was a challenge for me. And it's not a challenge for me now. I think up until last year, when I began to understand that there's capacity for everything in my life that I want to do, because I'm also a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, so many other things other than a model. But I kept identifying myself as a model, and that's it, right? And that couldn't be it because I've had so much of an ebb and flow in my life. When they say, and I'll speak specifically for me, when my mentor spoke, your journey is not linear. I did not understand that at the time. It's a lot of things I didn't understand at the time that I now understand at this point in my life. And the reason why it cannot be linear is because there's so much development, maturity that needs to take place in the crevices of life that we want to discount and dismiss because it's not A to Z immediately. There's still a whole bunch of things in between before you get to Z from A. And I needed to really sit with that and calibrate myself into that truth so that I could have an easier flow of life and where my journey really was taking me and not even taking me, but what it was developing inside of me. So that 7 year journey has been was really, again, it was challenging, but I did grow. I did learn other things that I loved. I did discover that. I did discover, I started playing around with fashion as well. Fashion, I love clothing. I love clothing. I'm very simplistic in my taste, as you guys can tell. I'm not really a big theatrical, over dramatized dresser. I just, if I find something that's classic and chic, that is my style. Just very put together, very buttoned down. That's just me. Um, and I love it. But if I showed you if I showed you pictures, I have got to learn how to edit pictures into videos. That's my next mission. If I showed you my style now and then when I was in middle school and high school, middle school I was such a tomboy, right? It was all about Allen Iverson because I've always loved basketball. Allen Iverson, when he came out, I had his jerseys, I had his sneakers, walking around with my tall white tee. Yep, in my white tee. So I had that, and I don't know if you guys remember the slouch socks, the socks that you would like wear and put over your jeans with sneakers. Oh my gosh, I had pink, I had red, it was, and then I had like a little mixture of girly in that where I had like jersey dresses. Like our era of dressing was low key iconic. The 90s, 2000s was very iconic. And so I kind of dabbled, but even in that, seeing how I evolved in my style lets me know the importance of not having a linear journey, makes me know the importance of having a 7 year gap in modeling, even though I could have done without it. I absolutely needed it so that I could see myself evolve. Had I continued in modeling, right now, I may not be where I am in knowing who I am and knowing what I want and knowing the kind of model. I would have gotten in early. Somebody would have told me who I was, and I would have ran with that. And so I'm grateful for the what's the word? I can never think of the word when I'm trying to speak. It's like later once the video is off and the cameras turn off. I know exactly what I was trying to say, but it's like that what they call the intermediate spot, the 7 year spot that really helped me to, at the level again, at the level that I was, know who I am. And I can appreciate that. And so now I look at the pauses because I've had more than, I had the 7 year gap. The 7 year gap was the biggest gap I've had in modeling. And then I had the following one, which we'll come to because again, this is a thread of my journey. The next one was like 1 2 years. And then I kind of modeled up until this point where I'm reshaping the game for myself. So if you've had a pause in your journey and you felt like, well, it's not going to happen, let me encourage you when I say this, do not give up because that it won't let you go. I'm just going to tell you that if that's something that you're really supposed to do, it will not let you go, no matter how much you try to talk yourself out of it, no matter how much you say, oh, I'm done, it won't let you go. How do I know that? You're looking at the person who've done it. Like I've told people I retired, came out of retirement. I told people, oh, I'm done. And all of those things came from something. And again, I will talk to you about that as my thread continues. But do not let go of your dream. I will say, and this is also part of a video that's coming, let go of how the dream is supposed to come about. For me, I'm a type A person. Like everything has to be in specific order, structure, what have you. That's just who I am. Like I thrive in those types of environments. I cannot thrive in a chaotic environment. It has to be, things have to be a specific way. But in that, I realized here recently actually that that created rigidity in me because I always look for that specific structure in everything in my life. And that did not leave openness to be surprised. And I don't mind surprises. I really don't. I like surprises, but I have to open myself up to them. But if I stayed in the box of what I feel like things or how things should be or go, then it will create a rigidity in me where I'm like, no, that's not the way. That can't happen. Now, organization and structure and all those things has its place, right? And I'm learning that place for me. And everybody's different. If you are type A and you're like me, like, girl, I can relate, then you have to learn to navigate it, and not take it in every area, because every area it really won't serve you. And I'm realizing how it hasn't served me in the way that I've approached my dream, um, as a model coming forth. And this is in any area, again, not just modeling, but in any area that you are doing. If you come on this video and you're not a model or even desire to be, but you want to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever, you have to be open to how those things are going to come about. You may have like, oh, I want to see this, and you may have your goals and have goals, but also be open to how that goal can be achieved, right? I think that's the most important thing. I think that's the most important part of this video today is creating openness within yourself, creating openness within your mind, allowing your mind to expand beyond how you think something should happen. Again, you have a specific blueprint for your life. You really do. I know that may sound foreign to certain people, but I can't look at Winnie Harlow and try to follow her exact blueprint. We grew up differently. We had different circumstances. Everything was different. So I can't expect my life to look like Winnie Harlow. I can't expect my journey to look like Heidi Klum's. I can't expect my journey to look like Iman. Love her. She's my favorite. I can't expect those things because that's not real. It's not realistic. It's really not. So you have to lean into your journey, one, by appreciating it, right? Being grateful for it and learning and knowing, even reflecting and saying, hmm, how did I get to all these places? You know, they really weren't actually a part of my plan, but I ended up getting there, and they ended up being everything I needed. And they might not have been good or bad, but they were what they were for what I needed. And I think we label things good or bad because we give definition to it. And sometimes we just have to look at it for, okay, this is happening, but why is it happening? And that really helped shape you into understanding, I know that I'm going to be a model. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know who I'm going to connect with to help me get there. I don't know. I don't know. You just never know. So leave yourself an open space, right? Create capacity in your life, in your mind, for things to happen, authentically, organically, and you'll see how it took place was the way you needed it specifically, because there's a personal development that's taking place in the process. And that's what's really important. Not the thing, right? The thing being modeling, but who you are in the thing. And so these are all the lessons that I'm learning. And that is why, as you can read the title and say, oh, a 7 year gap. Oh gosh, like, is that something I have to look forward to? No, that was my journey. That was what I needed to experience so that I could run into the people that I was going to run into. And not all of it was about modeling. I needed to connect with these people because there was other aspects of my life that needed nurturing and development. So sometimes those things, take place, because it's, again, my life was just like model, 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 but not realizing that there was other areas that needed to be touched. So I'm grateful for that 7 year gap. I'm grateful for the discomfort of not being able to model the way that I wanted to, or get where I wanted to, when I wanted to, and how I wanted to. Because in my mind, I wanted to go from A to Z. Is this simple? I found what I love to do. Let's just get there. And that's okay, right? Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. But I also had to yield to the process, the surprise of the process, the discomfort and the challenges of the process, if we're being honest. And that's like the biggest takeaway for me. But what I'm just the overall growth, the overall becoming, the overall evolution of Sydney. That's what the 7 year gap gave to me in the season that I was in. And so the next video, I will talk about getting back into modeling in my college years and what that journey looked like. So I'm really excited to continue to share my story and everything that has transpired for me to get me to this place and everything that I'm still learning. Because again, I'll reflect on then and then I'll bring the now back into it because a lot of it correlates into who I am today and what I learned. Because in the time, I didn't know what I was learning. I was just not happy about it. Be honest. I was not happy about it. But that's the beauty of the journey, and give yourself to it and trust it. Absolutely trust it. And how you experience all of this is up to you. You get to determine how you experience where you're currently at, whether you want to experience in a mindset that's like, oh, this isn't going to happen for me, or everything is working out for me. I may not can see it clearly right now. I may not understand it, but everything is working for me. And eventually one day I'm going to have that. That's what was happening. And it's the best moment ever. It's the it's the best moment ever. I'm just going to put that out there. So appreciate your journey right now. Nothing has changed. You are a model, like, period. Like, it's just who you are, or whatever you do. It's who you are. It's just going through the process of getting there to really function in that part of who you are. So stay tuned. You guys know I'm coming back next Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure, again, if you haven't, go back and watch the first 3 videos, catch up so that you'll understand the thread and how all of these things came to be. Okay? Have a wonderful, no, have a beautiful day and weekend. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Take notes. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to comment. Follow me on Instagram, all the things. I'm still learning how to navigate YouTube. So I'm really working on building the community out so that I can share things, you guys can share things, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday.